This is the future.
What's up, YouTube and Facebook, and welcome back to Not Quite Mint. Today we're doing our comic book reviews. We're finally back on our comic book reviews. This is episode 1 in the new series that we're doing, and we're basically going to look at this week's comic reviews, and we're also going to review some comics we've been reading that aren't from this week, some old school ones. So shall we get into it, Rich?
Yep, let's get into it, Tom. As always, guys, do make sure that you are following along and subscribed. We have got, obviously, all of the social medias that are just below Tom down there. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Join us over there and join, obviously, the NQM fam. Give us a thumbs up. Hit the dingly bell so when we are going live or putting any new videos out on YouTube that you don't actually miss anything that we're doing, because obviously we are putting probably like 3 different things out every week at the moment. We stream Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then we're trying to get an extra sort of sneaky video out on weekends, and we're mixing it up, aren't we, a bit there?
We are a little bit, yeah.
So I think we've got we had a mystery box last week, didn't we? I think we've got a mail day stuff this week.
Yep, and we should have a mystery box next week. I saw online that people were getting theirs, so ours should be arriving shortly.
From Crazy Collectibles, I do believe.
Yeah.
So do make sure that you do come along with us on that. But yeah, this week we've got some new book reviews at last. But we are sort of carrying on with the tradition that we've had while we were on lockdown and not getting any new comics. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the other stuff that we're carrying on reading, aren't we, Tom?
Absolutely, mate. Yeah, because actually, I'll get into what I'm going to talk about, why I'm reading what I'm reading in a sec. So
I like it. So have you got any preference on what we start with first? Shall we do the one that we haven't got the overlay for?
Yes, but first, if you're watching now, make sure you stick around to the end. So don't turn off, don't go away, because we have got a giveaway going. So stick around to the end, because we will go through how you can win some free comics. Yeah,
and we'll quickly show you them and explain when hopefully we get to draw it for people, because someday me and Tom will be reunited in the same room.
I feel like we're going to have to do it soon. Even if we're in the same room, like 2 meters apart with 2 different laptops, it's going to happen. It's got to do.
I was actually thinking, if the weather wasn't like these storms and everything, we should set up in the back garden or something like that. Because if I can get Wi-Fi in my back garden, especially, or with you guys, it's definitely we should probably try that.
We should turn the cameras around as well, so my camera films you and your camera films me.
It would be good. As I say, let us know, guys, if you want to see a socially distant NQM in somebody's garden, if the weather's okay, then let us know. I think it'd be quite good. We'll have it all measured out, because me and Tom, we wash our hands and all that type of stuff, and don't touch our faces too much.
I always touch mine to my beard.
Yeah, I do all the time as well. Ooh, danger. But no, that's not obviously not take. It's a serious thing, but yeah, we are in that realms of a lot of people in America are allowed to do it at the moment, but our rules are a little bit more strict, aren't they? So but yeah, I think if we could get into a garden,
we are looking that there's light at the end of the tunnel. So hopefully, fingers crossed.
Well, the next review I think is a week on Thursday, isn't it? So a week today, in fact. And I heard rumblings today that Scotland are going to be changing theirs this weekend, apparently, to allow people from separate households getting together, potentially. So that's the rumour. So hopefully we'll follow suit fairly soon anyway. So fingers crossed anyway. But we're here to talk about comics. And the first one, Tom has got the 1 in 25 punchline cover variant. I have got the Art Germ one,
which is stunning. I want the Art Germ one.
Yeah, I mean, I've ended up.
I think I prefer the Art Germ
massively. I mean, He's like one of my like. If there's an Archer cover, I regardless of whether I'm reading the book or anything like that, I genuinely tend to try and pick it up anyway. So, but yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. So, and we've been waiting for this book for so long.
So long.
Yeah, I mean, we've had the Batman as one of our regular reads for quite a while, haven't we?
We have, mate. Yeah.
And then, obviously, the reason why I started reading detective comics was because I just wanted to read more stuff that Tinian the Fourth had been, obviously James Tinian the Fourth had been writing. So that's how I got into that. But yeah, it's good to have it back, and there's so much stuff coming with it. This issue probably a little bit of a filler, although I do
the best, but I did enjoy it in a way that it does set it up nicely for the next issue. It's not a TV show. It'd be a good TV show.
Yeah, definitely. To be fair, at the moment, the way that it's been written, the new introduction of new characters, we think that we had a first appearance of the Underbroker in this one.
Yeah, well, I think so. So I've never seen him before, or as far as I know, I've not come across him before.
Yeah,
but it's not listed as a first appearance in this book. But it could well be.
Yeah, well, he's definitely in there. He's mentioned by name. He speaks. So I'm a bit like I don't know.
A load of lip.
Yeah, well, that's what I think. For me, I thought issue 93 was down as the first appearances of the Underbroker. So whether they've just got a bit mixed up in the meantime, I'm not too sure. But this one is cool because we do see first fight between Punchline and Harley Quinn, don't we?
We do. I feel like what's happened with Batman is basically Punchline's come along and all the hype's got massive. She's become a huge thing and they've just forgotten everything else that they'd written into the book. And everything, each key is about Punchline or Designer. And they've forgotten that this character, the Underbroker, appears in this one. They're like, oh, he appears in the next one. Oh, no, wait, hold on. He appears in this one.
Yeah, because I know your covers that you've got up behind you. I'm pretty sure that
he's on 94.
Yeah, that obviously we've got quite a lot of real like first appearances, as I say, coming up as we move towards Joker War, which starts in 95. Is that right?
I think so, mate. Yeah.
So because we've got obviously Joker War started the journey to Joker War started in Nightwing, but we'll talk about that in a minute. But we've got in the next episode, you got me doing it. Next issue. Sorry. We've got I think we get the identity of the Designer revealed.
Yes.
Which is really cool. But something that I've not seen before as well in Batman is Batman and Deathstroke working cooperative.
Mate, I thought that was a really good touch in this book that they were working together. And I also like that he basically mugs off the Riddler.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, because obviously, like they've the whole like sort of build up to where we are now with this sort of story arc is that all of there's the Designer and he's been pulling the strings of this massive grand master plan with all of these other villains like the Joker, Penguin, Deathstroke, and everything else. And then Deathstroke was hired as a new group of assassins, Mr. Gunslinger and Mr. Teeth, and people like that were introduced.
Yeah. And
we sort of got to this point where like Deathstroke's pretty much like said, I'm done with this. What is going on?
Yeah.
And the better offer for him is actually to support Batman, which is I'm not aware of Batman and Deathstroke kind of working together in this. So
it's so good.
It is brilliant. And again, it's really hard not to get excited about it and talk about all of the spoilers in the world, isn't it? But genuinely, it's if you're not reading Batman at the moment, it's a bit like you need to be reading Batman, you need to be reading Venom, you need to be reading Thor. When do we get the next new Thor? Because I need to be reading.
It's issue 5. I feel like it's like a couple of weeks. It's not long.
No, not long at all. And I think the next Batman 93 will come around quick because they've got this like weird delivery schedule thing going on as well. So yeah, it's pretty epic, isn't it? So definitely go out and check out Batman. It's not our pick of the week though, is it, Tom?
No, not yet.
It's nearly, but the book itself this week isn't necessarily the most one. But we did mention obviously one of our next the next ones that we should.
What's up, Art Chemist?
Here we go. Cool, yeah.
I think
NYC. Well, fair play. The New York City, indeed. So we're obviously tying into the whole build up to the Joker War. The one thing that we did read this week is the next Nightwing 71. So this is the second part of the journey to the Joker War, and I've not been keeping up to date with the whole Nightwing thing, but it's fairly well explained. I thought it's a good jumping in point, issue 70.
I think so, mate. 70 really does give you the lay of the land of how things are going to go. 70's a much better issue than this one, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. That's the second printing cover that I've read. So it's got, but yeah, with obviously Joker in the Nightwing costume there. It's all right. It's pretty damn good. Yeah,
it's a good written comic, I'd have to say. Issue 70 is really good. Gives you all the it's a good jumping on point if you want to jump into Nightwing and without any idea of what's gone on. It's brilliant. It's a good jumping in point. 71 as a lead on from that is okay. However, for me, I felt like it was a bit of a rewrite of what they've already done.
I felt
there's one thing that happens they talk about in 70. There's like this little gem that they use to help
stone or something. Yeah,
and then obviously the Joker gets hold of it and he turns up, and then it's kind of like, you're just going to rehash the same story, or we're going to get a bit, hopefully it's going to expand. I mean, they left it well open, so hopefully it'll get a bit better. And I noticed that the artist changed from 70 to 71.
Yeah, the art was very different between the two issues. So I think that's how I felt. I felt it was like just a little bit disjointed. It wasn't a very strong. They're obviously driving home a certain point and perspective about, like, obviously the fact of what Joker's trying to do, and he's always like manipulating things in a kind of a sort of a tricky kind of way. But it's that whole thing that he wants to help. He kind of wants to help, but we don't know what his agenda is with the whole telling Nightwing the truth. Is it? And it's Tim Drake, is that right?
Yeah.
So you've got
Robin at the moment. This is Dick Grayson.
Is Robin? Yeah, sorry. And then you've got because there was who's the cop who was masquerading as Nightwing, who we saw at the start of 7.
He gets absolutely bludgeoned. I don't know, to be perfectly honest with you.
But yeah, so it's one of those ones where it's a good jumping in point. I haven't read previously, so I'm not familiar with all of the characters and how it's all tying together. But they are obviously trying to tie something together, so it's really big going into, I think, as I say, it's issue 95 of Batman. So if you're wanting to understand everything, I think, and it's going to be a really cool event, hopefully, this Joker War event. So you're going to have obviously the return of the three Jokers that's obviously being hinted at. I think was it Wally West and Dr. Manhattan and all that? It was sort of like about the three Jokers, and we spoke about it before.
Do you know what? Ironically, because I've been sorting out some of my prints for something else that we'll talk about later on in a different show. I had completely forgotten that I've already drawn and come up with the three Jokers as a print where they're taking a selfie, and it's the animated Batman Joker, the New 52 Joker, and the Heath Ledger Joker. I was like, hey, I've already called this one years ago.
Cool. Art Chemist is asking, what's your YouTube channel?
I actually don't have my own YouTube channel apart from this one. This is my YouTube channel.
This is it. But you've got your Instagram and all the rest of it, aren't you? So,
I am, yeah, Art of Tom Mailing on Instagram and Facebook. There's not a lot of updates from my art side of things because I tend to do a lot of it for Not Quite Mint now. So there isn't anything update new for my artwork, as it were, for the minute. But I will be relaunching my Etsy page at the end of the month. So keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, are you looking at those sort of plaque things?
Yeah, my acrylics. I'm going to pop some acrylic designs up on Etsy, and I'm going to do sets of my artwork rather than just do them as singular, so people get to enjoy all of it.
Nice. So we'll have to check out, obviously, Art Chemist as well. So thanks.
Happy days, mate. Will do.
Coming along. That's pretty much Nightwing expunged, isn't it? So we've only got one current thing to do, and this is
my pick of the week by far.
Yeah, I'll go with this is my pick of the week as well, to be fair. So let us bring it up, and it is, of course, death metal. Now, we haven't got any physical comics because they weren't delivered to our LCSs, but we have read them online, haven't we? We have read this issue online because we couldn't wait.
No, couldn't wait a week.
Couldn't wait a week, and there's some amazing covers, and I was really disappointed because I was really looking forward to getting, I think, like Martina's done a Superman one.
Beautiful.
Yeah, the art germs. You've got like Ryan Brown's done that, the Batman Who Laughs as well. There's just some stunning artwork out there. So in terms of Joker War, our chemist, just to answer his question, I think I'm quite excited about it because I'm enjoying Batman. Nightwing, I'm going to be interested to see how that actually ties into it. So I'm excited about that. But yeah, Joker War. Is Joker War going to be better than Death Metal though?
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, I like the idea of Joker War. And I think it's obviously setting up for the 3 Jokers. I think that's the end game. Is this going to be a much bigger thing than we think? The Joker War is only going to be the start of it, and it's just going to continue to spiral. That's my opinion. But I'm massively hyped for Death Metal over Joker War 100%. And I think it's because I like heavy metal music. And this is basically written as if you're a heavy metal music fan, which is amazing. And it's on the surface, it's great. If you look little bit too in depth in this comic, you can find huge flaws and you can be a bit too critical over it. But overall, as a comic to read and enjoy, and it be a bit dark and a bit gritty, this one's the one you want to read.
I think that's what I liked about it. I like that dark, gritty, kind of creepy element with the Batman Who Laughs. I'm kind of like, I read it, but then, like you said, I was kind of like felt a little bit vacant somewhere, and it was like, I think they're trying to. My understanding is that they're going to try and use this as a bit of a vehicle to go on to like this like G5, the Generation 5 thing. Yeah. So it's going to be dealing with the sort of the whole crisis stuff. You're gonna have mentions of the anti-life stuff. That's because we've got a new deceased coming out, haven't we, as well soon? So I have a feeling this is the start of getting all their ducks in a row. We've obviously got. There's a reveal of a character in here, and I don't want to do it because it's kind of like the main point of the whole thing. But it is going to be dealing with the stuff that we saw sort of at the end of stuff like Flashpoint, Flash Forward, especially, and it's just this feels.
I think, like Schneider and Capullo said. This is the last time they're going to do something like this. And I think it literally is, let's get everything together and just mash it in one. And then afterwards, we're going to reset the DC universe, probably with a lot of these characters staying over. I mean, also, Wonder Woman has a chainsaw. Why on earth would you not want to read this?
Well, again, not to give too much away, but it is the Chainsaw of Truth. which I did love because the way it was introduced was epic, and there's big questions for me, like what actually happened in that moment where the Chainsaw of Truth was revealed. Again, don't want to do spoilers, but yeah, I think you can say that this issue had so many, like, fair play. Where are they going to go with this? It's definitely a foundation, isn't it? There weren't many meat on the bones, I don't think, to start with, but by the end of it, you could see that they were building up.
I liked that they've reintroduced old school characters as well. Like, so they brought Swamp Thing back in, which I think is Swamp Thing in this one. So they brought him back, slightly deceased. You've got Johnny Hex is back, and Sergeant Rock. So that they're all characters that I've never read much about, but now I'm interested to see about their story in this, which then will probably prompt me to go back and read some other of their stories. So they've done cleverly with that, I think.
Yeah, is the big bad kind of person? Is it Perpetua as well? Is that right? Yes. Am I right? I remembered it right.
From Hell Arisen, is that right?
Yeah, so she's like that sort of omnipresent, like big goddess,
big eye thing.
Yeah, like there's what is it, Doom, and there's like Crisis energy and Doom energy or something like that. I forget the specifics, but it's like, yeah, she's like in control of like the sort of like, I think the Crisis, like the Doom, the bad stuff, and whereas like you've got like your Wonder Womans and all of that, who's like you're sort of like more on your light side, and like you Dr. Manhattans and your Wally West and stuff like that, they're in control, and it's this battle of the two forces against each other. And I think that's how they're trying to tie up these sort of multiverse threads, because I think in this they do make some references to the destruction of certain Earths or something, obviously. You know, with the whole 52 Earths theory.
Sorry, mate, that's just made me twig. You know, obviously they're doing the 3 Jokers.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's going to be at the end of all of this stuff. So it's kind of like, yeah, we've matched all the universes together, but now you've got 3 Jokers, unfortunately, so deal with it.
Yeah, so if we've just had, this is where I'm trying to figure it out in my head, because I think Joker War officially starts in not Batman 95.
Yeah.
We're on issue 23. 93 next. So if technically it's 3 issues, so it'll be 3 months from now. But do you know what I mean? So I'm like thinking, so Death Metal, which I think is a 6-parter.
6 parts, yeah.
We're going to kind of like be at the halfway point of that, so it would make sense that we get to that, you know, sort of multiverse crossover point with Joker War potentially, and the 3 Jokers, and because again, obviously, you know, with the whole Morbius chair and the 3 Jokers with Wally West, Dr. Manhattan, all of that kind of power coming in, I think you've got to go to, where's this going? Do you know, what is this setting up?
It's so exciting, really. Yeah. I mean, so many things you can have.
That's what I'm saying. And for once, I'm actually kind of just as excited about DC universe stuff as I am Marvel. I'm still always going to be a Marvel like fanboy at heart. You know, that's where my, you know, you'll never get me away from a Spider-Man and stuff. But you know, it's definitely.
I had this conversation with a friend of mine earlier. We were chatting away and we were talking about stuff, and he was like, basically, one of the most popular characters is Batman. And I'll take that over anything anyone says about Marvel any day. And I went to argue because Marvel is my jam. However, Batman is king. In all fairness, I got to give him that. I would read Batman any day.
Yeah, in terms of like, yeah, because there's certain parts of like Spider-Man, and again, because you have like that. Whenever you read a Batman book, you know you're reading a Batman book. Yes. You know what I mean? I think they make a real conscious effort about that. When you read, like, say, Superman, I really find it difficult to read Superman because there's so many different, you know, there's the Batman versus Superman version. There's, you know, when he's in Action Comics, he's slightly different. And there's so many different iterations, and it doesn't feel like you understand the character, I don't think, of Superman. I struggle. Yeah, he was my first superhero that I liked. Spider-Man, I really love the Miles Morales stuff because I feel it's quite relevant now. Like, I got into Spider-Man reading Ultimate Spider-Man, which led on obviously to Miles Morales. So that's why I feel that affinity to Miles Morales, because he's like
more modern age, I would say.
Yeah.
Miles Morales.
Exactly. So that's where that all comes from. But yeah, I'm obviously a big Spidey fan. And then you've got like stuff with like X-Men and Fantastic Four, because obviously I like all of that as well. The universe feels better on Marvel. But yeah, like you say, that I love Batman stories. I love it's so consistently good and dark and written.
I totally agree, mate. I would totally agree with what you just said. Marvel have probably the best universe because you can dip in and out of each story and know what's going on. Totally. Whereas in DC, it's quite confusing in what universe is what and what timeline it is. Whereas if you read Batman, you know it's Batman. That's it. End of. It's going to be gritty. It's going to be good.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, I'm fully on board with that, mate. I think we've tied that. I am like, I don't know where this is going to go though, and like I say, the end of this death metal was like, right, did that just happen? And
yes,
really, do you know what I mean? It was like, okay, so what comes next type of thing. So 100%. So we're on to our sort of historic reads now, I believe, mate.
Well, just before we do the historic reads, Rich, I'm interested to find out what you would give this out of 10.
Oh, are we going on a 10? Oh, we're doing that. I think I would go for me, it was a solid 8.
I would agree.
And that's only because I just felt at the start it was drifting a little bit, and it wasn't until we kind of like had the Batman turn up that it started getting really interesting.
Yeah.
It was a bit mysterious, but a bit slow, and a bit like, what's going on? Where's this going to take us? And then all of a sudden, the last sort of third of the book was a hell of a lot better than the start, basically. Yeah, although I did like that introduction. Did you say it's Sergeant Rock?
Say again?
Did you say it's Sergeant Rock?
Sergeant Rock, I think it's called. Yeah.
Yeah, and he does like that intro bit, doesn't he? And that was really, I did like that. So
yeah, I totally agree, mate. I would have given it higher if it hadn't been a bit slow to start with. Also, I was going to give it lower. I was going to go like 7 because once I'd finished it, I felt like I needed to reread Metal and some of the other tie-ins. However, thinking about it, that's actually a really good thing that they've done there, because it's encouraging you to go back and read the other stuff. So if anything, that was more of a plus than a minus. So yeah, I'd go 8.
Yeah, I'm going to definitely, I think that's going to be on the reading list, is to get my I've got Metal and I've got Doomsday Clock to read as well, because I've got part 2 of Doomsday Clock through this week as well. So I'm going to read all of them. I'm going to read the first Metal. I think that's going to be my main reading focus to sort of, maybe not next week, but until the next one of these comes out, definitely.
Like a bit of a catch up. I might do the same actually.
Yeah, it's good call, mate. Good call.
Right, let's do some old school stuff.
Old school stuff. Yeah, and Art Chemist does say Sergeant Rock does play a cool role, and yeah, that's what I say. It is bloody good. So, shall I start? And
go on.
Because I think I've read 3 things.
Yeah, I think I've only got 1.
Well, we can talk about 2 of my things. We can talk about, because you've read both of them already. You're up to date. Yeah. So I'm going to start here. I'm working my way through slowly but surely at the rate of about 1 issue a week, because I'm not catching the train to go to work at the moment. And I'm reading Fantastic Four from start to beginning. Main reason being is because I'm trying to collect as much of the sub 100 run of Fantastic Four. So I figured I'd at least start reading it. So I think I've got about 35 Fantastic Fours under 100 now. None of which are any of the major keys. And I think my lowest number in my collection, I want to say it's around about 37. It's either 37 or 47. So and I'm missing all those. Like I'm missing the big ones at the start, and I'm missing the big ones in the middle around from like 46 through to I think it's about 52 with Black Panther and stuff. So yeah, I'm just building up to that. I'm very much in the origins of Fantastic Four. And this whole issue that I read today was basically, I say today, it was yesterday when I read it, but it was basically about, it started off where Human Torch, the previous issue, which is the issue up on the screen, which is issue 3, was where they were having this battle with the Miracle Man, who's this kind of like hypnotist magician and fools them into thinking a load of things. In the process of that, the Thing has a massive argument with Human Torch, and he does one at the end of the issue, and nobody's where he's gone. So issue 4 starts with them going out looking for the Human Torch, and it was really weird because like there were like little sentimental notes, like they get into the Fantastic Car, which is just the Fantastic Car. Like, you know, you've got 4 separate little sections that each of them goes into.
It's awesome, man.
And they obviously go out, but I think it's like Sue Storm, is it?
Yes.
Yeah, it's Johnny Storm and Sue Storm, isn't it? I was getting worried going into X-Men's territory then. But yeah, so Sue Storm, obviously they go off, and she's like really sentimental because it's a brother who's missing, and it's like, oh, this is the first time we've taken the Fantastic Car out without Johnny's piece, and they go off, and it's like, so there's all these like little sort of like sentimentally bits in there, and then you actually just find out that old Johnny Blaze is turned up in his old garage, and he's working on hot rod cars, no. Which is cool, you know, and that's his happy place. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But then it takes a completely bonkers turn in the sense that the Thing finds him first and is obviously still pissed off at him for doing one. And he decides to basically break down the wall to this person's garage, starts throwing cars around and all this type of stuff. And it's like just turns into this big sort of fight. I don't know. He's just moody, isn't he? Because he fancies obviously Sue Storm, can't get her, so decides to take it out on the kid brother, I suppose. But it was really, really good. Again, it was a funny issue, very of the time, very of the era. Everybody made up and was friends towards the ends, of course. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it still, and you know, appreciating it for what it was, which was, you know, without these books, we wouldn't have Stan Lee as a household name, and Jack Kirby and all the rest of it. It's you can just see back then in what the mid 60s, you know, where it all came from and why it was so popular. Really, really enjoyable for me. But yeah, I do like it. Have you read more of the early X-Men yet, Tom?
I haven't, mate. I kind of have a confession on that one. So I read issue 2, which I think is the first appearance of the Vanisher. It really bugged me, so I didn't read issue 3.
Yeah, you love. You're a big. You love it. That what is it about issue 141 where they turn over into Uncanny X-Men? Yeah,
pretty much, mate. Anything that Chris Claremont wrote, I'm much more interested. For me, he's the X-Men writer.
Yeah, that's why I was going there. I was like thinking, oh yeah, you might want to read Fantastic Four, but if that was annoying you, if it was a bit too much of the time with X-Men.
I don't know if it was too much of the time, but it was very much like, I don't know how to say this without coming across like a bit of an but it's the whole crap. It's like, no, please leave that. But then that's how they did sound effects.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. Yeah, it's just where like sort of pop art and the whole sort of movement came from that time. You know, led on to your Andy Warhols and stuff like that. So you can see those like that. It's just as I say, of the time. So it's, you know, it's all good. It's all good. But I'm really enjoying it. So hopefully I'll have issue 5 read by next week. And
cool, man. I will try and X-Men for next week. Promise.
Cool. So we're going to do yours now, mate. So
awesome. So I went back, and actually, I'll start without saying that I went back to read this. I decided about a couple of weeks ago when I read Planet Hulk that I would really like to read all of Marvel's major events plus their tie-ins. So I thought I'm going to start quite late on with the Disassembled, because it's one I read myself when it first came out, and I really enjoyed it. So you're talking issue 500 of Avengers till the end, which I think is a 503. So it's Disassembled. It was come out in 2004. It's written by Brian Michael Bendis, and the artwork is done by David Finch. It's actually one of the most disturbing Avenger reads that I can remember, and I completely forgot what happens in it. So if you've not read it and you want to read it, turn off for like a couple of minutes, because I'm going to explain what happens and why I loved it. So basically, in this story, Wanda Maximoff has convinced herself that she's had children and they've died. So she decides to manipulate the whole world. At this point, nobody knows this. So Jack of Hearts, who's already dead, turns up on the Avengers front lawn, and they're like, what's he doing here? He's dead. He then blows up and kills Ant-Man, which is horrific. And that's in the first couple of panels. And then in issue 2, Janet and She-Hulk are arguing. Vision turns up. He says, I don't know what's going on, but you need to watch out for. Then he kind of like starts decaying and starts fighting. She-Hulk goes absolutely bonkers and rips him in half, literally rips him in half. That's an amazing panel, that bit. So that's all going on. They've got no idea why this is going on. They think it's Ultron. They think it's some kind of the Kree invade. They think it's the Kree, but it's not. Then as the story progresses, they come to the conclusion that somebody's messing with their minds. Like someone's just messing with it. Hawkeye gets killed as well, which is his death is actually horrific. He gets on the back of the Kree warrior, and the Kree warrior's got a jetpack, and he pulls the jetpack, and as the jetpack pulls off, he just shoots off into this massive kind of blimp thing and blows the whole thing sky high. It's ridiculous. Anyway, so Stephen Strange turns up. He tells them it's Wanda Maximoff. She's messing with everyone's brains. They then have to make the decision of how they're going to take her down. And from that point on, it's a bit like, wow, that's brute. That's harsh. Like, wow.
I suppose with that, it's that whole like, I'm intrigued by which way they're going to go with the whole WandaVision show on Disney Plus.
Yeah. I think it's going to be like this.
Yeah. I think that's it. It's like that whole like sort of decaying of a kind of mental state and creating that whole like world around her that, you know, so yeah.
It's a really good story, and I definitely would recommend reading it. It's just there's a couple of points in it where you think, wow, you definitely don't see it coming that it's Wanda, because you think, what? How could this be possible? And then when it comes out and they reveal to her, well, actually, there's a point where the Wasp and her are sunbathing and they're chatting away, and the Wasp turns to her and she says, I don't know how you can, you know, carry on. I mean, I would be gutted if I'd lost my children. And at that point, one was like, I've never had children. I never had children. Did I have children? And then you think, well, that's weird. And then later on in the story, she's convinced herself that she had children, but she never had children. But then she's somehow convinced Wasp that she had children and didn't have children. It is incredible. It's so good.
Because there's a whole storyline around that's, I don't know if it's this one, but about with Mephisto.
Yes,
as well, and that's to do with her children as well, isn't it? But it's not. It's not this arc, is it? It's a different one, isn't it? So,
but this actually leads into the fact that the Avengers then decide that's it. They're done. They're completely done with it. Because at this point, they're under the influence of the government, the USA government, and Shield. They have to do what they say. So they're just disband. Which then leads into issue 1 of the New Avengers Breakout, where you do get a brand new set of Avengers, and you get Spider-Man and Wolverine. And I've just started reading that, and I forgot how good that was as well.
Yeah, I think I've got that up in the loft. That
Really, really good.
Is that where they introduce like Ronin and all that at some point?
Yeah, he comes into it.
Yeah, it's got those keys, hasn't it? So, sweet. So yeah, cool. I like the sound of that. So yeah, I think that was all around about 2004 sort of time.
Yeah,
so
2004.
Sort of after the whole Ultimate stuff had happened, and just as there was a big change around. I thought when I remember reading.
If I remember rightly, sorry to interrupt. If I remember rightly, I think this is the end of this Avengers run, which comes to the same sort of around the same sort of time as the Ultimates were coming to the end, because the Ultimates was more popular than the Avengers. They had to do something drastic, and then after this, you get House of M, which is incredible. Which is my next read after it. Sorry, I'm kind of going through the motion.
No, cool. That's what I say. It's good. I try to get it in my head, like, because this is post Civil War 1. Is that right? Is it after
post Civil War, post House of M, post Secret Invasion?
Awesome.
No, all pre before Civil War.
Cool, because the Civil War 2, isn't it? Did that come much later?
Civil War 2 was a more recent thing in the last couple of years, but Civil War 1 is because is one of the major Spider-Man keys, but that comes because he's part of the Avengers, and that's issue 1 of this, which is 2005.
Oh, got you. Interesting. Cool. Yeah, I remember reading it all at the time, but it's so jumbled in terms of my head. Where
mate, me too. I forgot half the shit that happens in this book.
I think like the MCU with the films and stuff have messed with stuff as well, because like I remember watching those and going, and then I was like, I remember that sort of thing happening in the comics, and then it was just because it was done at a different point in the films, it kind of messes with my chronology. So it's like I totally get why you're going back and reading it. Totally get why.
I mean, the Marvel Universe, the cinematic universe, changed the Avengers completely, because Captain America was not a founding member of the Avengers originally. It was originally the Hulk, Thor, and Iron Man and Ant-Man. Ant-Man wasn't one of the original Avengers in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. Good point. Right. So the last two books that we've got to talk about are effectively books that I'm kind of. One of them I'm doing, well, both of them I'm kind of doing the catch up. But I mentioned earlier on that I'd started reading Detective Comics and loving it at the moment. So I think I'm only like 1 or 2 books away from finishing this, the sort of number 1 hardcover. But yeah, I think I'm the next one. The next issue that I'm reading, or the next part, is the finale of this. What is it? The Victim Syndicate stuff. So they're sort of, figuring out who the Victim Syndicate are, and they've had the big fight at like the gala thing where they show up and start gassing everybody and all the rest of it. And now we're sort of like finding out what their relationships are with each of them, obviously, because they each represent something like the first victims that each member of like the gang kind of like had affected at some point. So like you've got like Clayface, like there's a woman I think possibly called Gloria or something like that.
She's his first victim, isn't she?
She was first victim when he first turned into Clayface, when he wasn't a good guy as he is now, and basically he killed her and caused her to have. I think, didn't he knock her into the same vat of clay that had affected him or something like that? And then
I'm not sure entirely how that story works, but I think you're right.
So it's something like along those lines. We've got Azrael obviously shows up as well, and sort of like has a bit of a fight with them as well. And I'm really enjoying it. It's obviously the James Tynion writing that I was craving during lockdown to build into this 92, and they do the whole Batman run that we're reading now, and they do have a very, very similar sort of feel. I think there's like that team element and all the rest of it. I know this is Detective Comics, but it's yeah, it's a really solid story. I'm really enjoying it. And the whole conflict that Spoiler's in as well, like, because obviously,
yeah, because she's teaming up
Red,
in certain places.
yeah, and she's kind of like was visited by obviously the leader of the victim syndicate. His name leaves my brain at the moment, but he goes and speaks to her, doesn't cause her any harm, and just like really obviously messes with her head. But at the moment, she knows something that she isn't telling the others based on what that guy had obviously said. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all turns out in the finale. So yeah, so that's where I've got to. So the Victim Syndicate finale, and I really like how all of the cover art is in there as well. So you get all like the variant covers and all of that as well. So it's so nice. But yeah, that's right. At the end of this one, at the end of the previous one, Spoilers sort of turned up as if she's on the side of the Victim Syndicate. Yeah, sorry, Batman. This isn't how the world is supposed to be, and I think I'm the only one left who can fix it. So stumps everybody right at the end of that issue. So
well done, you.
Yeah. So I can't wait to see how it turns out.
You'll love it, mate. The next story, that is amazing.
Yeah, so I think I've just got the one story left in that, which brings us to probably the last book that we're going to talk about, which I think is going to dominate so much of our channel moving forward, and that is I've started obviously reading the Donny Cates run of Venom.
So good. This is one of the best written comics out there, period, at the moment. Donny Cates' run on Venom with Ryan Stegman is incredible. You can get a bit lost in it, I would say, because it's got lots of twists and turns and this and that and the other and bits of this and bits of that, but it is great. It's one of those longevity stories, in my opinion, where the way he does a story arc. So, like, issue 1 is just as important as issue 4 because everything happens in between. So good.
Yeah, so I am basically getting caught up in all the hype with issue 25, which obviously is just came out effectively last week.
Yeah,
I know me and Tom have got quite a lot of we've got a lot of like the different covers and stuff, but we read that issue. It's absolutely mind-blowing with the new villain that's coming in, the mystery villain, as well as obviously Virus. We don't really know what role they're going to play moving forward, but based upon the fact and sort of teases from like Donny Cates and Stegman and various other people, it's sort of fairly clear that it's got something to do with obviously the symbiote sort of, I don't know, like the whole symbiote sort of structure effectively, because we know that Null obviously comes in issue 3. I haven't got that far yet, but obviously in this issue it's setting that up that there's that, you know, all these symbiotes are saying that the gods come in and all this kind of stuff, and I could only imagine what people must have been going out their minds.
When I first read this, when it first came out, I was like, I have no idea what's going on here, because they retold Venom's story in Venom Space Knight, where when Flash Thompson was Venom, they kind of made him a good guy. He went to the original planet where they came from. The planet then made the symbiote good rather than bad. He hadn't got any, malice in him. And then they did this thing where he ended back up on Eddie Brock, and he went back to being a little bit of a screw loose. But then they're like, actually, they all are. They are all a little bit like that because they come from Null. Like, he's actually a part of this symbiote. He's just a part of him. And then there's like, I don't want to spoil it for you, Rich. I don't know if you've read much about it, but there's quite a few bits that happen in this. There's like, it's amazing. It's so good.
I know that there's the whole thing with like the codex, and it's like the fact that like it's almost like the symbiotes are like a hive mind type of like they all, and they the symbiotes, they will remember like things with different hosts that they've obviously had over time and all that kind of stuff. So I know a little bit. So that's why I'm going back, reading the issues to try and knit those pieces together, because obviously we really enjoyed Venom the End when we reviewed that, obviously pre-lockdown, and there were a lot of elements of that I think feed in from the relationship with Null and all the rest of it. Plus there's obviously Absolute Carnage, which we read and reviewed during lockdown, I think, didn't we? Did we do that during lockdown?
Finished it. I believe we finished it during lockdown.
So there's Absolute Carnage as well, and that pulls on a lot of things that are yet to come in this, such as the introduction of Dylan and things like that. So I'm just trying to knit all those finite pieces together.
You want to get, I think it's Web of Venom VNAM. Yeah. That's worth reading as well, because it's obviously, I can't remember if it's in issue 1 or issue 2, but you get introduced to some soldiers who all will have had a Venom symbiote at one point. And that's their story is Venom VNAM. It's very good. Again, I think
it's be the next one, because we've been introduced to those soldiers because one of them is speaking to Eddie.
That's it.
He's kind of like has a bit of a fight with him, and then he goes like after a kind of like a land train type of thing, and then these are the symbiote sort of soldiers that had been frozen from Vietnam sort of time. They then escape, and they've got obviously the red swirly thing on the foreheads and stuff like that, and you get in this sense that this is all a bit different, because like the symbiote, like Venom, separates from Eddie because he wants to go with these others, but then he stays with Eddie and kind of like heals him, whilst Eddie's obviously mortally wounded by these others, and like Venom's actually having a bit of a tug of war of, you know, do I stay with Eddie or am I going with these people? So it does seem very, very interesting. The artwork is absolutely stunning.
So many good bits in this, like, because obviously, no, I'm not. I won't actually. I was going to say something, but I'm not. I'll wait for you to get there, and then we'll talk about it.
Cool. So yeah, so Venom's there, and I did manage to pick up as many back issues as I could when I was in the LCS. So I've got most of Venom Island from 21 to 24. And I've got others that I've been picking up off eBay for a couple of quid here and there. But I must get issue 3 in my life before it just goes ridiculously expensive.
Oh yeah, mate,
it's so expensive at the moment. Yeah, I mean, even like I think the third print's like 30 quid or something.
Yeah,
it's madness. But yeah, I'm going to try and get one of those, I think, next month as well. So, but yeah, that's where we are, isn't it? Effectively, we've got obviously Venom 26 coming out soon. And we've managed to get hold of some of the really cool variants that are coming through with that.
Hell yeah!
Hopefully, we'll get to show everybody at home what's going on. But yeah, that's all good. But thanks very much, Art Chemist. You take care. Thanks for dropping by.
See you, dude.
So yeah, you know, lots and lots of things to look forward to. We've obviously read a lot. We're going to be back. We'll drop a video over the weekend just about various bits and bobs that we've been buying and adding to our collections and stuff. Yeah, I think we've covered everything, haven't we, mate?
Yeah, so we'll be back next week with our keys on Tuesday night. So we'll be doing the new keys, and we'll have another spotlight with a character. It's completely gone out of my brain who character it is. I think it might be Hellboy, but I'm not entirely sure.
It's Hellboy. Yeah, I need to dig some of my Hellboy trades out and have a bit of a refresh of my brain.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So make sure you guys come back for that one. Rich is going to tell you about the giveaway before we go.
Yes,
and then let you lovely people go and get back to normal life. I mean, we've kept an hour of your time, but thank you very much for sticking around with us.
Yeah, so just to mention the giveaway again, guys, obviously it has been going on effectively since February, when the world was a very, very chaotic and strange place when we decided to bring it to a close. But effectively the giveaway, if you want to take part in the actual video comments, so when this is finished, go onto the comments, whack that thumb up, subscribe to us if you haven't done already, and just enter down there NQM crate giveaway. Obviously hashtag NQM crate giveaway, so that we can find it when we search it. And you will, first of all, with the grand top prize, this is a hand-drawn sketch card that Tom has done of on the sketch variant of Thor #1. So you'll get that original artwork from Tom himself, and then you'll get this stack of comics which we chose at random from Not Quite Mint crate, or Not Quite Mint long box. And it also includes, going back to February, picks of the month, which was Batman Detective Comics Annual 3. Really, really good story about sort of the death of Alfred and how Batman's dealing with it. And then we got the cover art, which was this Matina of it's Red Hood, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
So the Red Hood Deceased Unkillables #1, which was our cover pick for that particular month. So do make sure that you take part, guys. You will win those, and we'll be drawing it in the first time that me and Tom do one of our big shows together, whenever we can actually do that.
Which hopefully will be July.
But we will try and do that as soon as we possibly can, even if we have to do it in one of our back gardens.
Yeah, absolutely.
So with that, guys, thanks ever so much. You take care, stay safe, and we will see you again very, very soon.
Yeah, I'm going to say the same. Look after each other, stay safe, stay at home if you have to, but yeah, look after each other. Keep on reading those comics, and we're both going to say see ya.
See ya.